to have the director and the star of the movie here with us. So I'm going to bring them up. Mahamat Saleh Haroun and down. Achouackh. Yeah, I'm sorry. Apologies. All right. Well, congratulations on the film. Beautiful, beautiful film about something that in the U.S. is actually quite topical right now. Access to abortion. And I guess I wanted to start off by just with you, Mahamat. Why did you want to tell this story right now, and particularly, why did you want to tell the story right now at this time?
Well, hello everybody, and well, I wanted to tell this story because it becomes nowadays a kind of commonplace. Every 2-3 weeks you have like an article about young ladies who sometimes kill newborn babies, and we find them in garbage or something like that, and sometimes they throw them in toilets. There has been an article like on the 3rd of December, and I showed you, I don't know, I showed it to someone,
Yeah.
And so it's just something very happening every day, and so I started thinking about how to tell the story of a lot of women, young girls, we don't have any sexual education, and the fact is just like you should not have sexual relation before the marriage, and if so, it's your fault. It's always like that. So I wanted just to make a kind of tribute to all women in Chad. My grandmother, I grew up with her, and my mother, my sisters. I have like 4 sisters, a lot of aunts, and so I did it because I'm the only, active filmmaker in Chad, and so it becomes a kind of duty for me to talk about this kind of stories, Yeah.
Right. And since you mentioned that about you being the only filmmaker in Chad, I know that you have also screened this film there, and Achouackh, feel free to jump in here about what's been the response to seeing the movie there, and how has it landed there for people? What have you heard?
Well, we had really an excellent, reception. It's my first film that people were just like very excited. And we screened the movie, usually the cinema theater is closed on Sunday. And the managing director told me, on Sunday, usually we don't have the habit to open, so there will be no one. But we got a lot of people on Sunday evening, and it was a kind of big surprise. And it did very well, and I found young people, boys and girls and women. They are just like, this is our story, you're talking about us, and some of them is just saying that I'm a kind of spokesman, and I'm happy about that. The film seems becoming a kind of useful film, and and I think it's going to change something, because we have the Minister of Culture. She asked for 2 screenings, private screenings, to show it to women, association of women, etc., and to discuss, debate about this subject. And also the biggest minister, which is a state minister, he asked also for a private screening to show it to the whole government. And I think that it's just like a topic, you have it everywhere. I mean, it's a universal question nowadays, so yeah.
Yeah, and Achouackh, I understand that you have played a role too in Chad, that you've been asked to advocate for these issues. Tell us more about that.
Just like he said, I was very surprised, because in the beginning I was happy about doing the movie, but I I didn't know like how people will take it because of all the subject. And we had, after all the screenings, people will just come to me and say like, hey, you're brave, you know, like you've done that. And it was during the screening that one lady, she asked me that they wanted to have like some sort of movement and to talk about that, if I can be part of it. And I say yes, and this is what I'm happy about, because as a mother, as a woman from there, like when I read the story, it was just a risk, because you can't even really like be an actress over there. And I'm like, yeah, I want to do this, so that, and I wish that there is more of stories like this, because everything is taboo in Chad. Like, we don't talk about anything. And doing movies like this is a good way to talk about our stories, and like the people that went through this, they know that, okay, like it happens to everyone, and voila, yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, congratulations on the role. It's a beautiful performance. What did you, when you were preparing for this, how were you thinking about your character? Like, what did you want to say with your performance? And is there anything that you particularly learned from her or from the process of doing this movie?
Yeah, I learned a lot. I lived here in America, you know, where everyone work, you have to work. And with Amina, what I saw is a working woman, a mother, you know, and it's just, and this is like everywhere. Like I see single mother like in Europe, in America, and everywhere. And at some point you just have to work and take care of your child. And this is what I really liked about Amina, the fact that she's working, not just sitting there, and if something happens, it's like you have to take a decision, you have to do what you have to do. Yeah, so it was is when I watched the movie for the first time in Cannes that I'm like, whoa. Yeah, it was a lot.
Was that your first time seeing it?
Yes, yeah. So
nice.
I realized like how fast it was, how intense it was, a lot of moving and working, and I never knew like how to make what Amina was doing. I see it everywhere, people sell it in the street, but I didn't know like how to make it, so I had to learn to do this, and yeah, so it was a great experience.
Nice.
Yeah.
And just out of curiosity, when did you actually shoot the movie, and how many days were you in production?
Well, we shot in November, December, I think. No, December, January 2019 and 2000, yeah.
Okay, so you
20,
just
then
before everything
yeah,
closed.
We have the COVID.
Yeah.
So we spent a lot of time, like, you know, not editing and etc. So we spent a long time for the post-production. And now we are breathing, you know, just like a little bit. I mean, so.
Right. Yeah, and speaking of breathing, one of the things I've told you this before, I love the pacing of this film so much, and just the beautiful pauses and the really thoughtful close-ups. That close-up before she goes to get the procedure, where you're like looking up in the clouds, and it's just so beautiful, the backdrop, and then your beautiful face on the edge of the frame. Talk to us about why it's important for you to leave those things in that sometimes people would just cut out.
Yeah, so poses are part of a kind of, you know, it's like when you have like music, you know, music composer, you need like poses sometimes, and it's part of the rhythm, you know, of the editing. And I think that for me it's important, because I have written a text like 3 weeks ago about what cinema is for me, and it was in a cinema school where I used to teach. And for me, you know, poses are very important. The basis is just like, you know, silence, because when you read a novel, you know, when you see like a sentence saying there was a silence, you never know how long it is, and I think that the rhythm of editing, of storytelling is on the pauses, it's how you get this tempo. I couldn't, explain, it's a kind of mystery, but it's just like, you have to find the tempo of the characters, and then you try to make it. It's just like, the whole job for me is just like, has to deal with painting and music. Is the basis for me, so the composition is also very important. And the first thing is just like, the door is just like the composition. It's like painting, and the first thing you have to be moved by is just like the color, the light, and the composition, without even understanding something, And this is the process of music, You don't need to understand a language, It's just like if someone speaks in, I don't know, in Chadian, let's say, it doesn't matter. It's just like if the music is there, it works, So sometimes I'm always trying to connect with human feelings, and yeah, because we belong all to the humanity, and we feel just, so yeah, the same thing. So
Yeah, and on that also, like the sort of moments where the daughter knows something that the mother doesn't know, or the mother knows something the daughter doesn't know. Like, for example, that great scene where we're in pursuit of the villain, the mother doesn't know necessarily that her daughter is behind her. I thought those moments were really powerful, of just adding that like tension into the scene, but also the sense of, they really supported one another a lot, and so I wondered about that, like your relationship with your daughter in the film. Talk to us about how you built that bond, or what was it like working together?
So when we start filming, so I just had my second baby. So yes. It was 1 month and a half, and I have my daughter that was 1 year and a half. So Rihan, she stayed with us. Yeah, so
so she really became your daughter.
Like one of my daughters. So we will go together and we come back together. And that scene when I was I learned about she was pregnant, and I had to come and slap her, and we will come home and we just talk about it, all the time, what is gonna happen, because I have a daughter too, and I just I was if something like this happened to my daughter, what am I gonna do? And when it happened, actually we cried, it was a real cry, and I think from that moment I just felt like she was one of my baby. And yeah, you made everything easy for the rest, I guess. Yeah.
Nice. Just any parting words or anything you want to say to people who have seen the film?
Well, it's just maybe some explanation about the title Lingui, which is a traditional word in Chad. It means that if you belong to the same community, if you share the same space, you have to take care of each other. It's a question of, it's a kind of philosophy of life, It's how try to be together, kind of solidarity, between each member of the community and etc. And if you stop having this Lingui, if someone breaks that, so you find a conflict or a drama, and that's what I wanted to show, and it tells something in Chad, when people heard about Lingui, they know what Lingui is, and I wanted how we have all this broken, in a way, Linguis, but at the same time you have this sorority of women, and they share the same, destiny or something, and so they become alliés, there is a kind of alliance. So yeah, so it has to deal with real cultural, notions of living together. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, we're having a reception just out in the restaurant, I believe downstairs, on your way out of the theater. This will land on the movie platforms in February, but feel free, we encourage you to, tweet or share about this in whatever way works for you, or get the word out about the film. Thank you all so much for being here, and we hope you will join us at the reception.